Hello, welcome back to Starcast Remarks, and alongside the very serious-looking Chris, my name is Ryan Chambers. We are the official Dallas Stars podcast of THPN. Chris, your hair is very messy, by the way. Thank you for all of you who have been joining us this entire offseason. Chris, we are finally in a month when hockey will be played. How are you feeling today?
It's a hairstyle, Ryan. It's messy. It's in style. This is trendy.
No. Answer my question, not my observation.
I feel great. I like hockey, and I want the hockey to start now. And we're going to get a Dallas prospect tournament here pretty soon, so that'll be fun.
I don't know if we can call it a tournament, but we'll very briefly discuss that. But thank you to our sponsor. Hold on. I got to do the thing. Thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook for being our sponsor. The promo code there is THPN. The next time you are there, thank you to DraftKings for being the sponsor of THPN. Okay, go ahead, Chris. Now you're allowed to say what you're going to say.
We got to come up with a fun name for what the little preseason exhibition games between the Red Wings are. That's got to be our task here. Scrap the first segment. This is the new first segment.
No, I think the DLLS guys called it the Sean Shapiro Bowl because
that's pretty good.
Yeah, right. Because those are the two teams he covers. Yeah, right. Exactly. So it's just like that makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah,
that's solid. Yeah, that's a good one.
Can you think of anything else?
I'm trying to. It's like the Sunny Bird Showdown or something like that. I don't know. I've got
where the heck did you get that from?
The stars are like suns and like red wings, like a bird. Bird's got wings, so Sunny Bird Showdown. And it had a nice little alliteration there, so that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Sunny Bird Showdown.
Are you trying to turn it into like the Red River rivalry or whatever? Like
exactly,
Oklahoma does with Texas. That's dumb.
Exactly. We can call it the Sunny Bird Frisco Fiasco.
Well, anyways, enough of our.
Now it sounds like it's sponsored by something called Sunny Bird.
Right, exactly. That sounds like a company name instead of
whatever. I call it. That is my intellectual property.
Okay, all right. What is Sunny Bird going to sell, Chris?
Sunny Bird cybersecurity.
James.
Yep, James. We already got him on wrap.
All right. We've got.
If I see someone steal that, I'm suing.
Go for it. Okay, it's already copyrighted here on the podcast. You're not allowed to use it. We're already 5 minutes in. We're already way off topic. Anyways, guys, thank you all for joining us here this evening. If you are here for the first time, please consider clicking like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you never miss an episode of Starcastic Remarks. And if you're on the audio side later, we'd appreciate it if you leave us a 5-star review, and that helps us grow. And it kind of gets us in the little algorithm and stuff like that. So we would love if you would do that. Chris, we've got some extensions to talk about. We have got some Jamie Benn stuff. We got some bottom six stuff. But we are going to start with just a couple of things that have been kind of percolating on social media. Yes, we're just going to start with some of those things. So the first one I wanted to mention is congratulations, first off, to Joe Pavelski. He is being inducted into the USA Hockey Hall of Fame. So he joins fellow Dallas Star or fellow former Dallas Star. Does that make sense? I guess Mike Modano in being inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame for USA Hockey, I should say. I'm not surprised. Thoughts?
Yeah, makes sense.
I guess the real question for me is, does he get to the true Hockey Hall of Fame?
Yeah, that's the tougher one. And I would say if the Hall of Fame was run the way I would want it to be run, I would say no. But it's not really. It's the Hall of Really Good. It's not really the Hall of Fame. So with the current criteria that the Hall of Fame holds, I think he should get in.
So obviously a lot of people who just have that conversation about Joe Pavelski, they discuss, okay, well, he doesn't have a Stanley Cup ring. Now,
yep.
That seems to be like a thing, but you're telling me right now that if Connor McDavid doesn't win a Stanley Cup, he's not going into the Hockey Hall of Fame?
I think those people's arguments would be he shouldn't, and I would kind of agree with them.
I would highly disagree. I don't agree with that at all. The
Theory has been, and the historic precedent that has been set, you are correct. The player Connor McDavid, if his career ended now, should be in. But I think the Hall of Fame should be more exclusive than what it has been.
The problem is that with the criteria that it was in the past, it has changed. And what I mean by that is the ability to win a cup is much, much, much harder than it's ever been. And it's going to continue to get harder as the NHL, talks about expanding. So I don't think that should be the final thing. I mean, there's guys like, no offense to Shea Weber, but Shea Weber is in the Hall of Fame. I think Carey Price is going to get there in the Hall of Fame as well, even though he hasn't played in almost like 6-7 years or whatever, however long it's been. It's been a long time. So I hate that argument that if you don't have a Stanley Cup ring, you don't get into the Hockey Hall of Fame. I think Joe Pavelski deserves to be there. And the other thing about Joe Pavelski is where he was drafted compared to what he was able to do. I mean, he was drafted in one of the latest rounds ever, and he became a captain of a really good San Jose Sharks team that just never was able to get over the hump. And then he was part of that group in a very special circumstance in 2020, where he was a big part of that Dallas Stars team, and he continued to be a big part of that Dallas Stars team for the following 3 or 4 seasons. So I think he still gets in. I think he deserves to get in. He should get in. That's just where I feel about that.
I agree with all that, but I think the Hall of Fame should be harder to get into. So I would say your Shea Weber argument. I don't think Shea Weber should be in the Hall of Fame either.
Okay, but I mean that's what I'm saying is you're talking about setting a precedent. That's it.
Yeah,
right. Exactly. That does not set the precedent.
Now that it's already set, you got to follow it. So
right. So
thus, Joe Pavelski should be in. Boom.
I agree. Not a big news thing, but still, it's cool to see. And I posted about this on X.
Man, Joe Pavelski's been all over this offseason, winning golf tournaments, getting into the Hall of Fames. Man, having himself a summer.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like he needs to come and work for the Dallas Stars now. Hint. Come on, Joe. And I even talked about him on the Stars fan story episode too, with in the whole blanket. He's got the blanket now. As well with all the shirts. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch those or listen to those episodes. But anyways, Stephen Johns, former Dallas Stars defenseman. He was known for the whole #mental miles after he kind of stepped away from hockey and didn't really do anything after that. He got married. I don't know if you got a chance to see that. That was really cool. I'm just happy for him. I always wonder what would have happened if he was still playing right now. And if he would have been that partner for Miro Heiskanen that I think they're still searching for.
Yeah, I think he probably would have been.
Yeah. But anyways, congratulations to Stephen Johns. And I love
injuries. You don't want to deal with them.
Yep. I'm just happy for him. I just wanted to make mention of that. Okay, this other one, I'm still kind of hacked off about. I think it's stupid, and I can't believe that they're still holding to it. Lian Bichsel. He is going to be banned, and the ban will stay in place for Switzerland's Olympic hockey program. He will not be allowed to play for his home country at the Olympics in 2026. I think that is the dumbest thing in the entire world. And for those that don't remember, this goes all the way back to 2023 when he decided not to go play for the Swiss. I think it was at the World Juniors.
Yeah, it was
and he turned him down because he had played a whole bunch of hockey that year, and he wanted to be rested up for the upcoming season. Well, the Swiss hockey program got butthurt and basically banned him until after the World Championships next year. So that means that he is ineligible to play for the Olympics, and he's by far one of the best defensemen for Switzerland, and I'm just in absolute shock. It's not like this guy, completely disregarded what his program told him to do or something like that. Or if or even that it was a bad reason. Like it was a perfectly logical reason for why he decided not to play in that international tournament. And he got punished for it for 3 years. It's just the dumbest thing in the world to me, Chris.
Yeah. First of all, this was reported by Robert Tiffin today, who also heard it from a Swiss reporter somewhere. I don't remember exactly who it was, but you can dig down the rabbit hole that Robert started for us if you want to figure all that out.
He actually has an article where he kind of breaks down that conversation. He did use Google Translate in order to make it work, but it's still interesting to go and read the article. So go.
How dare he not learn Swiss to read that?
Right. Yeah.
Horrible
exactly.
reporting. Anyway,
Wyatt Johnston, that needs to be his next language that he learns. He knows French. He knows English. He needs to know Swiss. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
Anyway, there is still time between now and when the Swiss roster officially needs to be announced. So I wouldn't say it's 100% he's not going to be in there because, I mean, I'm sure if nothing else, they'd at least like to make him sweat about it, you know? But
he's one of their top 6 defensemen.
What?
He has to be.
Yeah, he's definitely in their top 6 defensemen for sure. But if they're actually going to hold true to their self-imposed ban of him, which, I mean, according to what their coach said, is kind of agreed upon by the whole team, including a lot of the leadership for the Swiss national team that is going to be a part of the Olympics. So if they truly want to hold that, I mean, they really could do it. Now, here's the thing for me is that, well, actually, one more thing I want to address that you said. He did explicitly ignore them. I mean, he was told to report to their national team thing, and he explicitly didn't do it. And it's not just a one-way transaction. So it's not just like they demanded he come and he didn't want to, so he didn't. No, he gets training and stuff from the Swiss national team a lot too. And that was a part of his development as well, with the kind of unwritten contract that he would come do their national tournaments like that. So there's definitely a breaking of precedent that he did. So there's no doubt about that. My question is just like, what extent would the Swiss take this to? Because, I mean, the IIHF World Championships happen every year right after the end of the NHL regular season. So are they going to demand those Swiss players come play at the IIHF when the season ends? I mean, that has not happened for any national team, but I mean, it could be the same situation. And they're just saying they don't want their players to pick and choose the best tournaments. Well, your best players don't need to be playing more than the best international tournaments. I mean, it just seems kind of dumb to me, that statement. Like, of course, the best players should only play the top tournaments.
I should have pointed that out. That's a good point that you said. Is and stuff that I don't know is maybe he was receiving extra training and stuff like that. But the thing is you're actually hurting your team.
Yeah, they're choosing to hurt their team.
Yes, and I understand that aspect. If you're looking at it from their aspect and being like, okay, well, we gave you all this training and we set you up to do really well. You even got the chance to go overseas, and now you've got like a solidified top 6 spot on an NHL roster. And but at the time he didn't have all of that, but he was on projection for that. I just don't get that. That's like hurting your team. That's like, for me in my job as a band director, saying, okay, well, I have this first trumpet player who is really good and he can hit all the right notes, or she can hit all the right notes, and then just keeping them out because they were not feeling great that day or whatever, and not allowing them to play at region contests or at the state marching contest. That just hurts everybody else within that organization. Yeah. So that's why I don't agree with it, because it doesn't just hurt them; it hurts all the other players that he plays with.
Rarely, I'm going to say, we agree twice, which makes the show boring. So I'm going to play devil's advocate. Yes, you're exactly right. They're choosing to make their team worse during this Olympics, but they're doing so with the idea that they're going to be better in the long term. So the Swiss goal for hockey to be one of the best teams is they need to be more of a team and less of a superstar roster like Canada and USA are able to put together. So they're trying to develop in their country what Finland has kind of mastered, where they have, like, Finland has a dedicated hockey coach for their national team, and that's his job, to figure out with the Finns' best players how to do that. The Finnish national team has that identity of being really good defensively and being strong on the forecheck. Whereas, I mean, you look at USA and Canada, there's not really like, you don't think of an identity the same way as the Florida Panthers have an identity of being a physical, hard-nosed hockey team. But Finland does. And that's what Switzerland is trying to do in the long term. And the only way they can do that is if they get these players coming back year after year so that they can build a team with those guys. So that makes sense for the longevity to not incentivize people taking off those tournaments and to actually incentivize people to come every year so that they can keep building an actual team. But I still think it's silly. I mean, if you want to show off how good of a product your national hockey organization is able to put together, I mean, you should have a centerpiece of that like Lian Bichsel is. So, yeah.
I'm still baffled by it, and I can't believe we actually agreed twice on the same topic, Chris. That's weird.
I know. We gotta change topics and start disagreeing.
Yeah, we need to start discussing politics on this podcast. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. We will never be doing that. Okay, I want to jump into the big topic of this episode and what we're doing here today. We're talking about two players in particular. We're talking about Thomas Harley. We're talking about Jason Robertson. Obviously, Thomas Harley, his extension is overlooming everything right now, as is Jason Robertson. Jason Robertson is there's a ton of trade talk around him right now. We're not quite sure what he is looking at. I don't believe all of the rumors that are out there that they are trying to shop him at this point. It's still out there, but I just don't believe it. And Jeff Merrick said something on DLLS. He was talking with the guys there. He said that they've kind of got like an internal hard cap of $12 million because of what Mikko Rantanen got. And I mean, it used to be like what, $8-9 million because of kind of where Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin were at. Well, now they've fallen off. And then like Miro's got $8 million. Otter's got about 8.5 or $8 million, somewhere around there. And then here comes Mikko Rantanen with his $12 million extension. All of the contracts around the NHL are going up right now. And there's a whole lot of speculation for both of these players, especially Robertson. You know, what is he going to get? Because you could argue that Robertson has been more valuable to this franchise than Mikko Rantanen has, obviously just because of the duration of the time that he's been here. But does he deserve the exact same kind of money as Mikko Rantanen, or does Robertson's camp even care? Does he just completely disregard that, and he just does that based off of comparables around the NHL to kind of his similar style, the fact that he's a winger, all of that stuff? So I kind of talked a little bit. What are your thoughts on anything that I said?
Well, Robertson's camp only cares about getting the most money that they can for Robertson, which is their job. I mean, they're trying to figure out how to get their player played or their player paid. Oh, I messed that up.
Their paid player.
Yeah. But anyway, so I don't think the comparisons really matter so much. And I think he showed that with his last contract extension. I mean, he waited until the last minute to get as much as he could, which, like, good on him. You deserve it. I mean, do what you want with the rights that you have within the contracts. So he has every right to do that. But I just, value-wise, I don't see how you could put him that high. I mean, especially when you do compare him to a player like Mikko Rantanen. Taylor Baird put out a tweet today, I think it was, that Mikko leads Robertson in every number since Robo's first big year, that 100-point season. Mikko leads him in every offensive category. In the playoffs, he almost doubles him. I mean, and we've obviously seen what a great playoff performer Mikko is, and vice versa. We've seen Robertson struggle at times as well. So I think that proves that he's not on the same level as Mikko Rantanen is. I mean, Mikko Rantanen is a solidified top 10 NHL player. He is a superstar. Robertson is definitely up there. He is one of the best, but he's not top 10. I mean, he's a star, but I wouldn't call him a superstar.
Yeah, he is.
So
a star.
I think he's hovering just underneath the $11 million area.
Well, the thing is one could argue that Mikko Rantanen took a little bit of a pay cut. I don't want to say pay cut. That's not the right word. He took less money than he probably should have gotten. I think he could have gotten up to 13 to 14 million. But I think that Robertson's camp can probably argue that. I think that's fair to say that Mikko Rantanen could have gotten 13, 14 million. And then maybe that raises Robertson's value as well. I just don't know how much he's truly going to get, because the other thing about this is we talked about this 4 years ago, Chris, and it happened literally on a random, Sunday night at like 11:30 when they announced it or something.
Yeah, right after the last preseason game.
Yes, and we were talking about the fact that, is he a $10 million player? Like, we were discussing that now. I think that is the bar minimum. Like, if the Stars get him for under 10 million, that is an absolute 100% steal by Jim Nill if he's able to do that. So the real question is Robertson going to do what he did last time and wait till the last second to get that extension done? Or is he going to be a little bit more proactive and sign between that $10 to $12 million range?
Well, that's what Nill is trying to get him to do. And I think that's why it was in the media that the Stars were shopping Robertson and seeing what they could get for him. I think the Stars front office is trying to put a little pressure on him and say, hey, if you're not willing to play in our ballpark where our number's at, I mean, don't be surprised if you get shipped off the way Mikko was from Colorado.
Okay, now, but I don't want that to happen.
No, we don't want that to happen. That's
not going to happen with this player.
But that's what they're trying to put in the back of his head at the very least. And now it's up to Jason Robertson and his team on, are they going to call that bluff, or are they going to risk him not being a Dallas Star?
I just don't understand how you even look at that. And unless you get a superstar player of the same caliber, in return, I don't see how you can do that.
Well, let me give you a hypothetical then.
Okay.
Let's start the season. First quarter of the season, the top line is just not clicking. It's similar to the end of last season. Robo, Rope, and Rantanen are just not coming together for whatever reason. Robo's camp is still at 13.5 per year for his extension. And if you traded Robertson, you could get a top 4 right-handed defenseman and draft picks and have free cap space. I mean, that's awfully tempting for a team that, I mean, if Robertson's not on the top line, I mean, he's a lot worse. I mean, you want him to be there getting those scoring chances. That's where he's best.
I just don't, but like we've already kind of depleted we talked about the depth of this team for the last couple of years. That depth is most definitely not there anymore. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer or anything, but the fact of why, us included, we're looking at Dallas and saying, well, this team is still a very good team. It's just nowhere near as good as it was at the end of last season when they got, out of the conference final. It's because, Mikko Granlund's gone. You lost, not Joe Pavelski. Oh my goodness, Marchman. Sorry, I couldn't think of his name. That right there is 40 goals out of your lineup. And you're also talking about sending another 40 goal scorer out the door. I just don't. That doesn't make sense.
Crazy number. If he's at a crazy number, I mean, what number would you say no to?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is you have to look at and I'm so glad I don't have to make these decisions. That's why Jim Nill is so amazing at his job and why he gets paid the big bucks. I don't know what that answer is. I mean, if he's asking for something absolutely astronomical, like 15, 16 million, then that's a different conversation. But if he's asking for 13 and a half, you're not willing to at least try that? Even if it's for like, and by the way, I also don't think he's going to get an 8-year contract either. I think he's going to be around that 4, 5, 6 year. Yeah. I think he's around that 4, 5, 6 year ish kind of area in terms of term. So, I mean, I guess we can talk about this is what does he eventually get? Is he going to get truly that much less than Mikko Rantanen?
I don't think it'll be that much less, but it will be less. I mean, it has to be. He's not the same caliber player, in my opinion. I mean, we've talked about a lot of different ways that's true. Just purely by stats, it's true. And then by the eye test, you watch who is able to make a bigger impact in a game by themselves. I mean, you just have to watch one game from the playoffs last year to know the answer to that. So it's not really comparison to me. I mean, and you cannot, like, the best argument would be that Mikko is underpaid, which I don't think is true. I think he's paid really well, and I think he's pretty much right at where he needs to be. It's a good contract right now, which means it'll be a great contract later. But I don't think that justifies you making top 10 money when I don't necessarily think you're a top 10 forward.
So you said 7.75. That's his current contract. He got it for 4 years when he signed it. You think right now he is paid at the correct rate?
No, right now Mikko is paid at the correct rate.
Okay.
Right now Robertson's contract is a good deal. It was a good deal when he signed that one, for sure. Right now, I think Robertson is a $10 million, 10.5 player. I think he's going to end up getting 11 or 11.5 in reality.
So if he wants that 11.5, do you pay that?
I mean, not easily.
What if he does 3 years at that number?
I mean, yeah, I think that's what he would do. I think that's the most likely contract is 3 or 4 years at 11.5. But
I think it's 4 or 5.
If you don't find it, I know Merrick also said in that same podcast, he was like, they want to get it done before this upcoming season starts.
Feels like something is going to explode on him this year. If it's just a gut feeling for me,
right?
Least.
Well, I would say, hey, let's wait and see. Like he has done that in his contract years. Like, okay, do it again. I mean, just show me that you can do it, and I'll gladly pay you 11.5. So I get where they don't want to have that kind of hanging over them, especially when they have 2 contracts. Like it's Robertson and Harley, which is a big deal. So they want to get it probably at least one of them done first. And the harder one that's going to cost more is going to be Robo. So that makes sense why they'd want to get it done. But I'd rather make him prove it, especially after what we saw at the end of the regular season last year, where Robo wasn't meshing with the guys we need him to mesh with.
Do you think Jim Nill can pull some kind of voodoo Jedi mind trick to make Robertson take less than 10?
No, but I will never doubt him. I thought the $7 million he signed for last time was insanity. Yeah. So
7 3/4. I never thought even at that term for 4 years, I didn't think he was going to get him at that term for that amount of money. I really thought it was going to be longer, and it wasn't. And then it was also even less money than I expected. So that's, I mean, good for Jim Nill. I don't know if Jason Robertson is going to be willing to do that this time around, because in all reality, this is where he cashes in, right? He's 26.
Prime of his career, yeah.
Yeah, he is right at that point when you're probably the most productive. And I just don't see him taking less than 10 million.
I agree.
It would be a complete miracle if he does. Last question about this is, and it's kind of tough, and it'll lead us into the whole Harley discussion, but who would you rather pay long term? Do you pay Robo at 11 million, or do you play Harley at like 8 or 9 million?
I make it even harder. Just straight up, you have to pick. You're gonna get rid of one, so you can only keep one. I'd say I'd still keep Harley, honestly. And I get why Robo's going to cost more money, because goals cost more money. And that totally makes sense to me. But if you're just asking me straight up, which player would I want to keep, it would be Harley.
I kind of agree with you, because he just brings something that the Stars don't have on the back end back there in terms of offense right now, because Miro hasn't been that way for 3 years now when he had that really good season.
But coming out of the hypothetical, of course, the correct answer is keep both of them.
Yes. So, okay, let's talk about Harley's extension as well, because this is almost a harder conversation, because if you're looking at the internal cap and what the Stars have and what they're trying to do, if they're trying to keep everybody below Mikko Rantanen and that $12 million, then it's a lot easier to get Harley to sign a deal for less than $12 million. I think that's fair. He's been very good the last 2 years. He actually improved his points by a little bit. He got 3 more points this past year. He was very consistent from last year compared to this year. And he gained about 2.5 minutes more in terms of time on ice per game. So that shows that even though he's getting more responsibility and more ice time, his effectiveness is not going down. So I think that is very important as well. And Miro has been hurt the last couple of times, and Harley has been able to play that quote unquote number one role very, very well. And he had a coming out party this year. So the real question is, what is Harley worth, and what are some comparables to him? Because a lot of people right now are pointing towards that Evan Bouchard contract that he signed recently with the Oilers. I forget how many years it was, but I do know for a fact it was $10.5 million, that is definitely much over what I would expect to pay for Thomas Harley. Where do you think Thomas Harley's number is at? Is it around 8 to 9, or is it above that?
I think it's around the 9 mark, and it's for a couple reasons. So it's lower than Robo because he's a defenseman. First of all, I mean, that's just true. Forwards get paid more, but it's also
they get all the points.
Yeah, it's also because Harley's coming out party was this year. This is when he showed up on the NHL stage as one of the best defensemen in the league. For Robo, that was 3 years ago. I mean, he's continuing what he's doing now, and that's what the $7 million contract was. It says you're becoming a superstar, keep doing it, and you're going to get paid more in the future. And that's exactly what he's done, and that's what he's about to cash in on. Harley's on what Robo's last contract was. So I think that correlates to nowadays is around a $9 million contract. And I think he's better than Bouchard, but I think Bouchard just has a little bit more of a track record of being a solid defenseman for the Oilers. And I think that's why he's getting a little bit more. And just, I mean, the hype around him helped him get that big contract as well. I mean, Harley has some hype now, absolutely, but it's not the same as a guy in Canada that everyone's swooning over.
And he was in a lot of people's top 20 lists. Like, I don't think he's in that top 10 conversation yet.
I think he's close.
He might be getting close, and especially after the year that he had and all the hype that he got, especially Four Nations, definitely helped. But I don't know if he's quite there yet, because even though Miro does not have the same hype as Harley does right now, at the time we're talking about this, Miro is still a better overall defenseman than Thomas Harley. It's just he just didn't play at all last year. He missed so much time last year. So let me ask you about this with Thomas Harley. I think he is in a very different situation than Robertson was a couple of years ago when Robertson signed his 4-year bridge deal. And Thomas Harley, he took a 2-year, $8 million contract, $4 million a year, which even at that time was considered a steal. And right now it's even considered a ridiculous steal, just like the Wyatt Johnston contract was when he was making less than $1 million and then leading the Stars in scoring, mind you. But he's at a good point where he's 24 years of age, and the Stars could wrap him up for about 8 years. And that would put him all the way till he's 32.
Yeah.
So
and it might be your last chance to wrap him up for 8 years.
Exactly. And that's the point is, and then with, again, hoping nothing ever happens again, similar to COVID, the cap is going to continue to go up. And that contract, if they sign it now, for 8 years is going to look better and better and better if he's able to keep that track record. I'm not saying he has to be the best defenseman on the Stars because that's Miro Heiskanen's job at this point. But we've had discussions where we've talked it could Harley overtake Miro as the number one defenseman. And we already discussed this offseason about the fact that, we kind of want to keep Harley on PP1, maybe even on PP2 as well, and just give Miro more responsibilities on the defensive side because that's really where his strong suit is. But, it's just interesting to think about the number of years that he could get and what that contract is. If it is a longer term extension, then I think the cap hit can be a little bit less too, because you're giving him that guarantee of, let's say it's 8 million or 8 years for $9 million. That's $72 million guaranteed compared to if he was looking for like around $10 million and the Stars are like, okay, well, we'll give it to you for like 3 or 4 years. That's less. That's like half of what he's got guaranteed if he signs that 8-year deal.
I think that might have been true in the past, but I don't think it's true anymore. I think now it's going to cost you more per year to get more years.
Because the cap's going
just
up?
because of how much the cap is going up. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
But I honestly, while you were talking, I still think it's the correct thing to do. I think if you go over, you get to 9.5, even $10 million, and you get him on an 8-year deal with the way he's progressed in his career, how good he looked this year, the way he talks about stuff, just like, to me, it says like the money's not going to be the motivator for him either way. I mean, I can't remember. It was late in the season. It was a 2-on-1 and he didn't break up the play and it kind of cost the Stars the game. And we didn't even really think about that being Harley's fault because it's a 2-on-1. Like those go in. It's an odd man rush. And
he took that
game,
really hard.
He's just beating himself up over it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I just love that. I love when a guy just takes ownership for something, even if it's not really his fault, which I think we would have said it wasn't his fault. But to take ownership and say, I could have made a play there and I could have won the game for my team by making a big defensive stop. I mean, that's the kind of guy you want, in my opinion. So I think locking him up, even if it costs more on your salary cap, I think it's the way to go.
I think another interesting question you have to kind of ask is, in order to get that contract, you have to prove that you're being consistent. And he did it. He's done it the last 3 years. Now, 3 years ago, he did it in the AHL. In the last 2 years, he's done it in the NHL at the highest level. And do you know what his plus minus is for the last 2 years?
Great stat. No, I don't. Go on.
It's a plus 60. That's fairly impressive over a 2-year span. And I know it's a terrible stat, but still, that proves that when he's on the ice, more goals are going in the other team's net than his own. So whether he's a part of it or not, but still, like if you can rely on that consistency and getting about 50 points from a defenseman every 82 game season, I mean, yeah. And we've talked about that he could even get more. We've always talked about this offseason that for a lot of these players, like Hintz, like him, like Johnston, like Robertson, there's Ottinger, even Ottinger. We've talked about how there's like it feels like there's that little bit more that could put all of those guys at elite level status in that same category as Mikko Rantanen. They're in a very good tier 2 status where they're all very good players. Maybe Robo is in like a 1.5 tier. Yeah. And then Mikko Rantanen is in that first tier. But can Harley get to that elite level status and that superstar level status? And if he can continue at least just being consistent like this, then I think that's well worth the $72 million if you give him $9 million over 8 years.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And he's just consistently gotten better too. So I would say to pick either Robo or Harley to give that maximum year extension to, I would say Harley as well.
So you're still I think we agree on that I think Robo is looking probably at a 4 to 5 year, not 3 to 4, 4 to 5 year. I think he's going to get around 11 million, which means it's probably going to be less because Jim Nill always seems to get it to be less. So maybe it's actually around 10.
I'm going to guess 11.5, 4 years. Lock it in. Lock that
Final
on
answer.
DraftKings using promo code THPN.
Final answer, Chris?
That's my final answer.
Final answer. Okay.
But I have no idea what Harley's going to do. I mean, I really don't know what his motivation would be. I mean, we haven't seen a contract extension similar to this. Last time he got an extension, I think it was more the Stars who wanted to see what Harley was going to do over those next few years, more so than it was Harley wanting that smaller term. So we'll just have to see.
And the one thing that we haven't really talked about is kind of the elephant in the room. I think Harley's going to get more money than Miro Heiskanen.
Yeah,
in terms of average annual value, the AAV against the cap, I think it's going to be higher.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a foregone conclusion at this point.
Well, Miro signed a team-friendly deal, and it was during a time where we weren't for sure if the cap was going to be going up the way it has been recently. So, I mean, Stars just got lucky on that one. That's another Klingberg situation.
Yep. You remember Klingberg? It was like 4.25 for like 6 years.
Yeah.
It was something stupid like that. And he was our number one defenseman for so long. I still think we dodged a bullet when we offered him that 7x7.
Oh yeah.
That is a
bullet dodge. Can you imagine that right now?
I don't think we would have some of the players we do right now if that was the case.
Definitely.
That's crazy to think.
We need to make a what if episode.
Yeah, we do need to do that. Okay, well, what final thing on the extension talk? What's your final answer on the Harley extension?
9.5 AAV. No idea what the term is.
You don't even want to take a guess?
6.
Okay.
That's my guess. And that is literally I just threw a dart with my eyes closed backwards and blindfolded.
I think he's going to get 9.25 for 8 years. So that means he's actually probably going to get 8.5 to 8.75. So I'll say that 8.75 for 8 years. Just because again, Jim Nill
would be great. I would love that.
Jim Nill tends to get guys for less money. So, okay, I have a couple of other things that I do want to talk about, and it's mostly about Jamie Benn, and then a little bit about the current setup of the team in terms of how the bottom 6 looks. But first off, I want to talk about Jamie Benn because he's the longest tenured captain in Stars history. He's been the captain since 2013. He's at a $1 million base, and he could get up to $3 million in signing bonuses. So he could be up to a $4 million player. And those bonuses are extremely attainable. It's not like he has to be the Art Ross winner or anything like that. I think it's just.
He's got some that are conference final and win the cup. So I think $2 million of them are very attainable.
I still think that the conference final is still attainable.
It's attainable, just not easily attainable.
Fair enough. But the thing with him is it's going to be very different this year compared to last year. Because last offseason, we were talking about him and that chemistry that he had with Wyatt Johnston. And now with Wyatt Johnston and his expected elevation in the lineup and Jamie Benn's de-escalation? No, that's not the right word.
I don't know.
He's dropping down in the lineup. I'm trying to be fancy and it's not working. Okay. And he's probably going to be a 4th line guy, we would assume, because he was in the playoffs this past year. But maybe that changes with Glenn Golitzson. But where is he at in terms of what's expected from him this season? Because even though he was a 4th line guy by the end of it, a lot of people forget that he still scored 16 goals, which for a 4th liner, that's pretty good.
Well, he wasn't really a 4th liner. He was on the 3rd line pretty much all year. And
what I'm saying is by the end of the year, though, he was on that 4th line. He was playing a checking role.
He wasn't playing on the 4th line. He was playing on the 3rd line. He just was scoring like a 4th liner. For me, it'll be a lot healthier because I'll be able to have a much better relationship with Jamie Benn whenever I see that he's making $1 million a year rather than $9 million. So I'll be much happier with the smaller amount of scoring that we get from him and the hustle that he's no doubt going to bring that he always does. So I'm very happy about it. It'll just make it more enjoyable to watch Jamie Benn. The expectation is that he's going to be more of a glue guy now than he is going to be a part or an integral part of the Stars offense. I mean, he's going to be the captain. He's going to chip in as often as he can on that third line role, which is still going to be able to score. I mean, it's going to have at least a Maverick Bork down there and maybe Sam Steele, which is two players that absolutely can and should be scoring goals. So it's not like he's going to be completely absent from the offense, but that's not, you can't rely on that anymore. You couldn't before, but the contract now makes it even more obvious that he's a glue guy. He's the captain. His role is second head coach.
Second head coach. Well, I'm just worried that because of the situation he's kind of being thrown into a little bit with the fact that, and especially if the Stars do end up trading Jason Robertson, their scoring on the left-hand side is going to be non-existent. Like there will be nobody that like a true left winger if they end up trading Jason Robertson, unless they get somebody back in return that's just as good as Robo. But I don't know.
No, that person doesn't exist.
Yes. But my deal is that, some people are looking at him who don't know better and are saying like he's the Stars' best. He's the second best left winger after Robertson, which he is. But in terms of actual like wingers, I know that like Sagan is originally a center and he mostly plays wing now because of his hip issues and stuff like that. But is he going to have to play a bigger role than what we want him to play?
No.
Because I think at some point they might have to.
No, someone's going to play a position that they are not super comfortable with. So it's either going to be what I think is most likely is Wyatt Johnston learns to play his off wing and he's going to slot in on that second line, or maybe even Robo truly doesn't work on that top line and Wyatt Johnston plays his off wing on the top line. You got Rope with two wingers playing on their offhand, which could be interesting. But yeah, Jamie Benn is not going to find his way to the second line. Duchesne, Sagan, Benn line. I mean, you're going to have to get walkers out there for him and have oxygen on the bench for when they get off the ice. It would be, it'd be scary. You'd be worried about slipping discs and stuff. So he's not going to find his way up there. It's going to be someone playing higher in the lineup in a position that they haven't traditionally played.
I got two more questions for you in terms of Jamie Benn. Is first off, a lot of people talked about him and the fact that he needed to go. And I mean, I think Sean Shapiro was one of the big guys out there saying that, he probably needs to go in order for this team to actually win a Stanley Cup. I don't think that's necessarily true, but, did he deserve this much loyalty, even though he's, very much so in the twilight of his career? Did he deserve the contract that he got? He's not a $4 million player, and he's at least, based off of what you said, you think he's at least going to get to that $2 million. Is he a $3 million player? And my answer would probably be no.
I don't know. I feel like Ben is showing more loyalty to the Stars with the contract that he just signed, more so than the Stars are showing loyalty to Ben. I mean, he's been your captain for so long. He's been the face of the franchise. He was the face of the franchise when the team was just terrible and was doing anything they could when it was just him, Sagan, and Radulov scoring all the goals. So I don't think that the Stars are being too loyal to him. I understand the comments about maybe his leadership style isn't great. I mean, especially you go back to that first conference finals loss against the Knights. I mean, there's no defending what he did in that game, and it might have cost you the series there. So there's room to question how he's led the team, but I don't know. I think he's shown in so many other ways that he's been a great leader for this hockey club that it's not like the Stars are just doing him a favor right now. And this is still Jamie Benn's hockey team. And if the Stars were to do anything to try and get rid of Jamie Benn, I think the hockey team would dissolve around that. So I guess my answer is no, Jamie Benn is good, but also Jamie Benn is necessary because he is the Dallas Stars. So if you take him away, the team's not going to be there.
You're scaring me with this whole talk of getting rid of Jamie Benn, because Luka is gone. He's gone from the Mavericks. We saw what happened this past week with the Dallas Cowboys. And now Micah Parsons, arguably one of the best defensive backs that the Cowboys have ever seen, is now traded to the Packers. And
the Robo thing is more similar than the Ben one. I mean, Robo's
in terms of star,
Luka and Parsons were. So that's the one I'd be more worried about. As soon as I saw Parsons was traded, I was like, oh no, Robo is next.
Well, I don't know if you saw I meant to mention this earlier at the beginning of the episode, but I don't know if you saw that tweet from, I think it's Daily Dallas Hockey, and he had 3 pictures after, this is very soon after Micah was traded, and it was a picture of Micah Parsons and Luka, and then there was a third picture of a Dallas Star. Who do you think that it was supposed to be funny? Who do you think that picture of the Dallas Stars player was?
Ryan Suter?
No, even better. Cody Cece.
Oh, nice.
he's like, all of these superstars are leaving the teams, and I retweeted
should have been
Dumbo. I was like, one of these is not like the other. And I was just like, no, that's something the Stars have been able to do, is they went out and got a superstar. So I missed Dan Coven. Sorry, random thought of the night. But anyways, I just thought that tweet was funny, and it's interesting to kind of see where this team is at with these extensions, with Jamie Benn, and all this other stuff. We've only got 5 minutes, so
I got one other piece of news that we missed, is that the playoff salary cap is going to be in effect for this upcoming season.
Dang it, I even had that written down, and I still didn't mention it. Thank you, Chris. Let's talk about that for a second.
I'm shocked that it is getting implemented so quickly. I mean, I didn't think any of those CBA negotiations would happen right now, and that one is, I think it's good. I mean, it makes sense. It's easy to implement. All it is if your team would be over the salary cap and ineligible to play on game 82, that's true for game 83. It is pretty much the way the rule works. So
game 85 technically now with the 84 game season.
Right. Well, it's not 84 this season. Still 82.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Missing the point.
So pretty much what the Stars tried to do before Robo and Miro got hurt at the end of the year too would not be allowed. So you can't be over and then have an injured player come back and just play all of them. You would actually have to sit people down who are fully healthy just because the money doesn't fit, which will be really crazy when it actually happens. But I think that's the only way you can really do it fairly and de-incentivize fake injuries.
I don't believe that those fake injuries are out there. I truly don't think that.
I should say it different. They're not fake injuries, but the recovery times happening exactly when the first playoff game happens is not a coincidence. Tyler Seguin deciding to get that surgery right when it happened, for sure he was fighting through the pain and stuff like that, but the timing of when he might be able to come back definitely came into play whenever deciding to get that surgery last season. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So it was definitely being manipulated and used. And honestly, I mean, you had to. That's why the Stars did it last season, because teams kept beating them that were doing it. So it wasn't illegal. It was part of the rules. So they followed the rules and tried to do it themselves. But it's just better to do it this way. That way you don't have to worry about the stupid allegations of someone faking injuries. So now it's not even a topic. It's just, you can't do it, period.
Like, you have to save that cap space for that player when he comes back.
Yeah.
And now everyone's on the same playing field.
And honestly, that's what's just going to happen. Like, I don't think you're going to have a situation where a team has to bench a $5 million player because otherwise they'd be over the cap, because the team's just not going to put themselves in that situation. Like,
So they're trying to
I just don't think that'll happen.
force GMs to save cap space, I guess.
Right, that's what it's doing. But like, say a GM ignores that, and they do still get the cap overage, and they've got a injured $6 million player. They take that free cap space from LTIR. They get back up to the cap ceiling at trade deadline. Then they get into the playoffs, and the injured player is healthy again. Someone would have to sit. Either the injured player would have to keep sitting, or the new player has to sit, or a combination of other guys have to. I just don't think that a GM would put themselves in that situation. It'd be crazy. I mean,
the capologists are capologing, I guess.
Right. It would just be a failure by their cap department for sure.
I think the problem is that I think GMs were still betting on this year with the whole LTIR thing. And then I'll be honest, this kind of came out of nowhere for me. I was not expecting this. I thought that with the CBA coming in next year and all the new rules were going to be implemented, I thought that was just, they're just going to wait till next season. Cause why implement them now? You're just going to finish out the current CBA. And nope. And you know what else is gone is the whole dress code. So the whole dress code for players, coming into a rink and having to dress a certain way or whatever, that's gone. So if they wanted to show up in shorts and flip-flops, they could. I don't think people will do that, but they could if they wanted to. And then here's another interesting one that I saw, Chris, out of that, and I wanted to mention. I don't know if you saw it, but there is no more of the, what do you call it? The double retention, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. So a team cannot take on 25% of a guy's cap hit and then trade him to the next team, and then that team only has to hold like 25% of his cap or whatever. A lot of teams and a lot of people and a lot of the sleuths online cried a foul, and they said that's cap circumvention. And
it absolutely was, but it was a part of the rules.
It was a part of the rules. And what the NHL basically did with this agreement with the NHLPA is they solidified it. They said, okay, yeah, y'all were right. Now you can't do that anymore. So yes, you can retain up to 50% of a guy's salary, but no longer are you allowed to do the whole double retention thing. I thought that was interesting because I don't think the Stars would have gotten Mikko Rantanen if it wasn't for that. And also if it wasn't for the whole LTIR space either.
Yep.
I thought that was really interesting.
And I think those changes just make sense, and they're common sense too. I think they should keep doing things like that to make the cap rules more simple, because I think they should really, I know they're not with what they did to cap friendly, but they should be leaning in more to this armchair GM stuff. I think it's a really interesting part of the sport, and I think it gets fans even more involved, and it's just another aspect of fandom. Like, it's like, why is fantasy football so popular? I mean, people like crunching numbers is really what it is sometimes. So it's just the same kind of thing. That's what armchair GMing is to me. It gives me the similar itch that fantasy football does.
Okay. Spur of the moment, who cares segment, Chris? Do you have a fantasy football roster?
I do not this season.
Oh, really?
Between this and between 100-degree hockey and between my job, no.
Nah. I'm actually doing it this year. Like, I haven't played in a couple of years because of, same thing. But
I'll give you grade picks. Have you done your draft yet? I assume so, since it's tomorrow. Okay. So you just tell me your top 3 picks, and I'll grade them. So what size is your league? How many people are in it?
I think we have 14.
Okay, that's 12, a solid 14. League. That's right. a good size.
It's a bunch of teachers around the junior high, and there's some teachers still within the district, but it's still fun. You gotta
get some good research in whenever you're going 14 teams deep. So
yeah, and I did. I thought I did pretty well on my stuff here. Let me pull up my team.
First round pick.
I don't remember my first round pick, but I can tell you who's on my team. But I know I have the Vikings defense, so I was very excited to get that.
Did you draft them?
Yes.
Boo! Don't draft defenses. Horrible move.
No, it wasn't my first round pick. I know that.
I know. Drafting a defense period. Unless it's like the last round, maybe. Done.
Right. All right. So I've got Kyler Murray as my starting
Aggie
quarterback.
legend.
Aggie legend. Let's see who else I got. I have Chase Brown from the Bengals as my running back. I expect good things from him. I have, I think it's Jalen Chase. No, that's not his name. Jamar Chase. Sorry. Jamar Chase of the Bengals as well. I don't know why I went in with the whole Bengals thing, but
who's your dark horse? Who's the guy that you think flew under the radar that you're most excited about?
I know this seems silly because he's a tight end, but I have Trey McBride. Trey McBride of the 49ers. I'm actually really excited about what he could do. And he was one of like the top rated tight ends. And I think I was like the first one to take a tight end. And then after that, everyone else freaked out and took a tight end in the same draft as well. So, but I always thought it was interesting because everyone was like, okay, you have to take a quarterback in the first round. And I was just like, I don't think that's true. I've always taken a running back or a wide receiver in the first round.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Okay.
But yeah, I am so glad I didn't play fantasy football because a lot of those names still went over my head. I am not prepared.
James Conner?
Yeah.
James Conner?
I don't even got James Conner, dude. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm out of the loop in the NFL. Cowboys have been so bad. I've got no reason to pay attention.
What about Jameson Williams? Jameson Williams.
Yeah, I know Jameson Williams.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know who he plays for?
No.
The Detroit Lions. I'm actually really excited about this year with this team. I've got a really good team. I'm actually really excited. I think I can do really well. I've had to make a couple of changes already because one of my guys got suspended for 6 games to start the season, and he was, I know, Rice of the Chiefs. I was like, oh, dude, he's like I think he's like the wide receiver 2 or 3 or something like that. He might even be the 1. I don't think he's the 1, but he's either 2 or 3, and he's getting passes from Patrick Mahomes. Heck yeah. So, although he's not supposed to come back until like mid-October, I think. So, okay. Anyways, enough of that about that. We need to wrap this up. Chris, you got anything else?
That's it. Oh, no, that's not it. Tomorrow, you could check out my article for 100 Degree Hockey. I've got 5 Texas Stars players to keep your eye on this year. There's some exciting ones.
I don't want to ruin that. We'll save that for next week a little bit. And also, you made an appearance on Locked On Stars again, right?
Yeah, I talked to Joey also about the Texas Stars more broadly than just 5 to look for. But yeah, go check out Locked On Stars and hear about the Texas Stars a little bit.
It's really interesting to see how many players actually did come back for the Texas Stars.
A lot
of them did. Yeah,
the team looks good.
And the interesting thing for me is going to be like what the goaltending is going to look like for the Texas Stars, because with Hellberg gone, that is a big hole in net to fill, like literally and figuratively.
We talked a lot about it. Go check out Locked On Stars.
Yep. Okay. So I'll leave it at that. I think next week we're probably actually going to have to do our season preview, Chris, because the week after that is when training camp starts. So we'll have to get into that a little bit more. Training camp starts in 2 weeks, and I believe the first preseason game is on the 20th on Saturday against the Blues, I think. I haven't heard anything about Victory Plus doing any kind of
me neither.
Preseason action.
I'm worried.
Nah, I'm not worried. I think they're going to do it again. They did it last year. They'll do it again this year. I'm almost positive. Although I really hope they don't just get the Jumbotron feed. I was a little.
That's all I need. I don't care. Give me the Jumbotron feed. Give me more hockey.
All right, guys.
Do it anyway.
All right, guys. Thank you all so much for following along with us live and listen to me rant about my luckiness and how excited I am for my fantasy football team, the extensions for Harley, Robo, Jamie, all of that stuff. We'll get into more next week as we get closer and closer and closer. We are finally in September. Hockey is just around the corner, and we're really looking forward to it. Again, if you like this episode or you're here for the first time, please consider clicking like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit that notification bell. Leave us a 5-star review if you are listening on the audio side. We'd really appreciate that. That helps us with the whole algorithm stuff and everything like that. And as always, we will be with you guys throughout the season. We're really looking forward to it. Alongside Chris, my name is Ryan. We will catch you guys on the flip side, and we hope you guys have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. I actually had to think about that.
Good pause.
And we will see you guys later. Go Stars.